Happy 2026, foamers, gamers, bitches et al. And it's not just New Year's Day at the time of posting, it's also the start of Tramuary, an event created by fellow train fluencer 29 down the line featuring trams. Specifically content about trams around the world all throughout the month of January 2026. Now 2026 is a big year, and not just because it was the futuristic year featured in Fritz Lang's seminal film Metropolis. See, my New Year's resolution is to no longer associate with the poor, so I figured why not hop on over to Europe's second favorite tax haven, Luxembourg. Luxembourg is not only a very small yet rich country sitting between Germany, France, and also those other ones, but Luxembourg is also the first country in the world to make all transit free. And I was there last year, I managed to ride pretty much most of it. Well, today's the Trams of Luxembourg in depth. All of Luxembourg's trams will be making an appearance in some form. Like here's a bus, for instance. That's all you get, bus foamers. But first, before we go on, here's a very special animation I bought off Fiverr for 10 bucks. TFTSB is made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you. Welcome to the capital of Luxembourg, Luxembourg City, or Luxembourg Via, if you will. I came in a historic train ride from Germany that I got to take last year, and my initial impressions of the city were very high. I mean, just look at this viaduct we had to go on to get to the central station. That's so cool. And then when I got off at the main station, Gare Centrale if you will, I met an SNCF driver who had pulled in shortly after us, and he gave me a tour of the cab of his regional train. Now, isn't that neat? The city of Luxembourg City is really mountainous. I initially wouldn't have expected it to be as easy to navigate as it was. However, it's clear they've made great strides towards walkability over the past several years, especially as not only were there sizable, very clean sidewalks in many areas of the city, but also elevators that go between the different levels of the city, because the city quite literally is built at different levels, and that's really cool. Oh, and there is a high-speed funicular, accessible of course, by the tram. Somebody touching my spaghetti! Luxembourg, the country, not the city, may be small, but it's certainly making big moves, especially when it comes to its public transport systems. If you've ever visited Luxembourg City, chances are you've heard of its famous free transit. No, it's not a marketing stunt or a quirky gimmick reserved for residents. This is a real-life thing that everyone can take advantage of. The entire public transit network of the whole country is free. Trams, buses, even regional and long-distance trains. Yes, long-distance. Luxembourg is small, but not like Vatican City small. Welcome to Luxembourg, where the trains are free, but not the toilets. This was enacted nationwide in March 2020 after plans were first set in place in 2019. So funny enough, yes, auto transit became free right as the pandemic hit. And there are some caveats to that free transit. First off, it only applies to second class seats on trains. So if you want a first class seat, you'll need to still head to a ticket machine, which by the way still exists. Oh, and if you find a Luxembourgish train serving stations in other EU nations, then you'll have to likely buy a ticket for the portions of the trip outside of Luxembourg itself. Fun fact, this thing's fucking useless now.
Actually, no, you can still buy first class upgrades with it.
Oh. The free transit isn't just some benevolent act of generosity from a country with a lot of spare trains and tax evasion lying around. It's a part of Luxembourg's grand plan to reduce congestion, fight pollution, make the city a little bit easier to navigate, all while providing a smooth and sustainable way to get from point A to point B. At least that's what the advertising says. Quite frankly, to me, I think it just makes the city more pleasant, and if that was the plan, it succeeded. It is not without issue. Crossing over the border from Germany to Luxembourg by train, my ass could quite literally feel the track quality worsen. That's another point for the Deutsche Bahn, thank you very much. But now let's talk about those trams. All one line of them, the T1. And it's numbered T1 because there are more in the works, but we'll get to that. Luxembourg City's tram network, now only one line, might be relatively new compared to some other European cities, or maybe not Liège, but it certainly doesn't mean it's lacking in style or usefulness. The trams themselves are sleek, modern, and importantly, very punctual. Don't expect to miss your ride by more than a couple minutes. I don't think I had a single tram be late while I was there. These trams are also low floor with platforms made to accommodate them, which means easy access for all passengers, from elderly folks to parents with strollers or anyone who doesn't want to perform acrobatics just to get on board with their luggage. Not to mention, but some sections of it use grassy tram track. My favorite. When I was there in early 2025, the team went from the city's stadium to Lux Expo, hitting stops in between such as the Central Station and the funicular along the way. However, since then, 2 more stations have been opened as well in the Lux Expo end, extending now all the way to the airport. Also, can I give another shout out to that funicular I mentioned earlier? Yes, the funicular, that steep, charming little cable train, also offers a delightful ride up and down the city's Pfaffenthal district, and it's not only picturesque, but practical too. The funicular's connection to the tram network at the top and a train station at the very bottom, while still being above a neighborhood all the while, really shows the literal levels of Luxembourg City as well, also just being really cool to look at from multiple angles and levels. It's a really good mix of practicality and wow factor, if you catch my gist, making it a really big FOMO highlight for me, and of course, it was also free. One thing that really stands out about Luxembourg's trams is how smooth the ride is. It's a subtle yet notable difference from, some other tram networks I've ridden around Europe. Looking at you, Cologne! Riding the trams feels like a smooth, quiet experience. It's almost as satisfying as the free part. Just another reason I really like the system. I know I'm glazing it, but I really did really like it, hence why I'm focusing on it for Tramuary. This is a train station.
Yeah, this is a train station.
In the coming years, you can expect to see more tram lines open to connect suburban districts to the heart of Luxembourg City, as well as other sustainable transport options like electric buses and shared mobility service. The tram system is actually set to grow to 4 whole lines by 2035, with heavy interlining in the city center, a new purple line that will actually run as a tram train at up to 100 kilometers an hour at points. I'm honestly really impressed, and I hope it does reach these lengths within the next decade. Now, whether it all gets done in time, that's to be seen. Fortunately, I kind of get the impression from talking to locals that there's worry about bureaucracy holding back this system from its full potential, but if I'm wrong, call me a shitload of fuck in the comments below. In the meantime, whether you're a local commuter or a curious tourist, hopping on a tram in Luxembourg City is an experience that's really enjoyable and also free. And even if it being free transit doesn't solve all problems with it, as a leftist transit advocate, the fact that all the transit in the country is free is rad, and there's a reason I just bolded, italicized, and underlined the word free in my script. This is something that I think all countries should aim for because, I don't know, transit should be for everyone. But beyond affordability, the trams are also just incredibly convenient, accessible, well planned for the future, and let's be honest, really fun to ride on. Nor the fact that they're by CAF, who, is on a war crimes list, but So next time you're there, if you ever get a chance to go to Luxembourg, forget about reaching for your wallet and enjoy the ride. Besides, it's Luxembourg. The country will find many other ways to make you part with your money anyways. But before we get off, let's answer a viewer question to start off 2026. And that question is, Dear Jamie, will you stop using that stupid Mario and Sonic gif in your videos going forward? Whoops, too late.
I'm sorry, I love the concept of, before we get off, here's a viewer question.
Should I leave in the before we get off?
No. That's funny.
It's still recording.
I know.